Wendy Drucker is the managing director of Drucker & Falk. The real estate services firm was founded in 1938 by her grandfather, Louis Drucker, and his partner, Manny Falk. Louis and Manny also received the Hampton Roads Business Hall of Fame Award.
My first paying job after college was in Southern California. I moved to La Jolla and did two things. I sold solar energy door to door, and at that time California was flush with money and they had tax rebates, and so people were putting solar panels on their houses. I did that part-time, and then I worked with a group to open up group homes for autistic children. I worked with autistic children in college and had an experimental psychology degree. And so worked with a group, and we went up and down the coast and opened up group homes for autistic children, getting them out of institutions and putting them in a home environment. After living in California for a year and a half, I called my father and asked him whether he thought I would be good in the property management business. And he secretly must have jumped 10 feet off the ground and said, "I think you would be fabulous at leasing apartments because you could sell ice to an Eskimo," and he used all those analogies that are quite overused, and told me that I had to fly down to Raleigh and I would be working out of our Raleigh office. And that was all she wrote. In 1981, I went to Raleigh, North Carolina, and started with Drucker & Falk, and have been with the company for almost 30 years. I quickly understood my strengths, and I played to those strengths, and the company did, to the company's benefit. But also I was very honest about where my weaknesses were, and as a result have surrounded myself with people that buffer my weaknesses so that I can continue to focus on the things that I'm strong in and things that benefit the company the most. I think that's one thing. I think the other thing is I've always sort of been the cheerleader for the company and for our employees, and I've always had a great relationship with our employees and haven't managed from top down. I manage collaboratively and have people have an important say into the direction of the company, into how, if we have properties that aren't performing or market challenges, that we look at those together, that it's not a directive from the top down. And I think that creates a company where people have a stake, and as a result we have long-term employees. We have people that have been with us for 20 and 30 years that have a real stake in Drucker & Falk and in our success. This is one that is not mine. I have to pay tribute to my grandfather who started Drucker & Falk. But he taught us at a very young age that there are a few things that no one can ever take away from you. And one is your education. The other is love. And the third thing is your good name. And in this day and age in business, to be with a company and to help lead a company whose name is associated with integrity and best business practices and honesty goes a long way. My mother's father in New York, when I was in college, I used to go down from Massachusetts to New York on a regular basis, at least monthly, dirty laundry in hand, and spend the weekend with them. And I was very nervous about upcoming exams and stayed up late Friday night, and Saturday I think we went out in the city for a while, but I needed to get back to study. And he sensed a real angst with me, and he looked at me and he said, "Tell me something, when in your life, when you've worked for something, have you not been successful?" And I thought about it for a bit, and I looked at him and I said, "Never." And he very quickly said, "So what makes you think you're not going to be successful now?" And that is a lesson that has stuck with me from the time I was in college. And now when I have a challenge with the company or a challenge even with my own children, I think back that if I focus on something and I work hard, that I will be successful. And so I think it's those family lessons, again, of a good name and working to be successful. I think those are lessons that stick with you, and then you can pass on. I pass on to my children. Business leaders have to give back. You can't just do business. You have to give back to your community, because if it weren't for your community, you wouldn't be in business. And in giving back, it has to be passionate and honest.